Hello and good evening, hockey fans. Welcome back to the Neutral Zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. So much to be going through tonight. What a Stanley Cup Final we have been treated to so far. Overtime in game one, and then offensive fireworks in games 2 and 3. Plus, the style of play we are seeing from both teams thus far, they are bad at each other. I think we may be in for some old-fashioned throwdowns the longer and further along this series goes. But we're not talking just the Stanley Cup Final tonight. Also on tap for the Neutral Zone tonight, the NHL Awards were presented earlier tonight. We will go through, let you know who won what, and how appropriate was it that the players got what they did. We'll break those down, and then, after a 2-year hiatus, the Calder Cup, the American Hockey League, is presenting its trophy as well. The Chicago Wolves and the Springfield Thunder in the battle for that. All that and more coming up on this episode of the Neutral Zone. Let's go. Hello and good evening, everyone. I am your host, Adam Karnick. Zach Puppos will be along with us momentarily in just a little bit. Good to be back personally. I was off last week. Zach did an excellent job of holding down the fort. I was out of town. I was up in Minnesota attending a family wedding. Nice to get away for a little bit, but wonderful to get back and very excited to be back talking hockey, breaking things down. The Stanley Cup Final has been amazing so far, to say the least. I agree. Taryn Rodriguez already in the chat room lighting things up there. I've also had some opportunity to do some fun things on the side, behind the scenes going on with these Stanley Cup Finals. USRN, our sister station, Matthew Owens has been doing play-by-play on every game of the Stanley Cup Final. He's been doing an outstanding job over on Mixlr, and they gave me the opportunity to do some of the pregame, postgame, and intermission reports with them, with Matthew and also Seth Eves during game one of the Stanley Cup Final. That was a lot of fun to do that as well. So kind of stretching my legs and picking up some new skills along the way here as we do this. So this has been a very fun, informative, and educational Stanley Cup Final for myself personally, besides just watching some really entertaining hockey that's been going on back and forth. So very glad to be back with everybody tonight. Before we go any further, of course, let's get down to the business at hand. Of course, before we go any further, we do need to acknowledge our sponsors here on IE Sports Radio, starting, of course, with the Southern California Warriors. The Southern California Warriors semi-pro football team. The world of semi-pro sports is unlike any other sports organizations. Players pay to play in hopes of so many different outcomes, whether it's playing to get filmed to try out for professional teams, big-time colleges, or just playing to stay in shape. No matter what, all semi-pro players have one thing in common, and that's playing for the love of the game. The SoCal Warriors have been on a quest to earn titles and give players second chances since 2017. Whether you're in Southern California or anywhere in the world, give semi-pro sports a chance if you love your sport. You may get that second chance you've been waiting for as an athlete. Find them on Twitter at SoCal Warriors, Instagram at Southern California _Warriors, or searching Facebook Southern California Warriors. And IE Sports Radio is available for you on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Just search at IE Sports Radio. And for those of you who enjoy TikTok, rumors are that we may be setting one of those up soon too. That's in the works. We'll see. Keep your eyes and ears peeled for that one. For the last 8 years now, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. All the while, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans. And with your help, we're ready to take the next step. When you go to our website, iesportsradio.com, you'll see our Patreon link with 5 different tiers. The first one starting at just $5 a month. This donation gets you shout-outs on all of our shows. Higher tiers include IE Sports Radio merchandise, access to our podcasting university, and even a chance to be featured on a segment of our flagship show, The Defining Moment. Thank you all very much for continuing to make IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports. And I do want to shout out our Patreon supporters, Bay Area Raised, Emlos Great, Key to the Gate, and Anonymous. Thank you very much for continuing your support of us here at IE Sports Radio. It really does help us to grow and expand our platforms, being able to do things like have IE Sports Radio on Mixler, which allows us to do live calls. I've gotten to do some live calls, some NBA playoffs. I did some of that. I know Gina G, the host of Reppin' to Bay, earlier on Tuesdays, she was doing some stuff in NBA play-by-play. I know Andrew Hagenbaugh, the host of the Soccer Scoreboard show on Sunday nights, and also the host of State of Ohio Sports on Friday afternoons. He's been calling some MLS games on IE Sports Radio on Mixler. So those are some of the things that your Patreon donations help us to be able to afford to do. So it really does help grow the station and grow the network as well. So thank you for that. That really is appreciated. All right, to the business at hand. And of course, this show is also available for you on Twitter. You can find the Neutral Zone. We are at IESR Neutral Zone. I am at Adam_Karnick. Zach is at The Pupless, and he'll be with us a little bit later tonight. He was messaging me before the show. He needed just a little bit of time. So we're flying solo to get things started, but plenty to talk about. And if you are listening live tonight here on Tuesday, just like Taryn is in the chat, hop on in. We can interact back and forth that way. You ask me questions, I can rattle off answers, or we can just banter back and forth and have kind of silliness that way back and forth. Taryn asking if any Ducks or Kings players won any awards tonight. I have not seen the full list. I'm going to pull that up. We'll go through it. All the awards ceremony was happening basically as I was driving home from work. So I was able to keep up with a lot of the big stuff right out of the gate. So things like Cale Makar winning the Norris Trophy and Austin Matthews and the Vezina, things like that. I have not seen a full, complete list as of yet. So, but we'll go through some of that and do some of those as we go. I do want to start off though talking about the Cup Final, just what we have seen so far from the first 3 games. We'll kind of work our way from the beginning of the series up till now. I do have to admit, Game 3 last night, I was following it. I was not able to watch it all in its entirety live. I was doing my other show. I was doing Chi-Town Weekly when the game started, and then had to help get my daughter to bed. And any of you that have toddlers know that sometimes can be a process in and of itself. So I was able to catch the entire third period and a little bit of the second period actually live as it happened, watching on my television. The rest of it I was following along on Twitter and things like that. So. But we'll start with Game 1 in the beginning. The 2 games in Colorado. We'll start there. I was just amazed at how completely and totally the Avalanche were able to overwhelm Tampa. I saw a lot of people commenting on it, both on social media and in articles and journals and things like that of it after the fact. Colorado was so hyper aggressive with their attack. I mean, their defensive men were playing at times above the face-off dots in the offensive zone. I mean, you're not even pretending to try and play defense at that point. You are just 100%. You are playing offense. You are trying your darndest to basically have 5 forwards out there on the ice at that point. And whatever limited success Tampa was able to find was when it kind of had to not do its typical game plan and had to try and just play dump and chase and throw the puck over the top of the defense and then get a head of steam and try to head down and just outrun the defense back to the other end of the ice. That's where you saw, for example, the 2 goals for Tampa in the second period very close to each other was when they were able to take advantage of a little bit of hyper-aggression from Colorado and find a little bit of space. But for the most part, Colorado has just been overwhelming with its attack, with its forechecking, with its pressure, with just not giving an inch to Tampa. And also, I made the comment before Game 3, the 2 games in Colorado managed to outscore Tampa 11-3 in the 2 games in Colorado. Of those 11 Avalanche goals, 6 of them came in the first period. And of those 6, 4 came in the first 10 minutes. You're talking 2 in each game, 2 in game 1, 2 in game 2 in the first 10 minutes. Tampa especially is just not used to playing from behind like that so early and so quickly. And I feel like Tampa struggled with that in the first couple of games, just falling behind multiple goals very quickly and feeling like, hey, we've got to shuffle things up here. We got to change something up so that we don't wind up even further behind and this thing gets totally out of hand. And of course, in Game 2, it did get totally out of hand. Game 2, I made the comment. I've been trying very diligently to be posting videos on the Neutral Zone Twitter feed, and then Larry has been great behind the scenes and taking those videos and spreading them out throughout some of the other social media that we use on Instagram and on our YouTube page, is getting those videos out there to people. I remember commenting after Game 2 that it was just, I can't recall seeing a team seeing so one-sided of a game in the playoffs. We're used to seeing teams. We're all used to seeing like Colorado taking on Montreal this season and obliterating them. You know, we're used to seeing games happen in an 82-game schedule where somebody just had an off night, or you had to go with the backup goalie because you'd used your number one goalie for the last 3. You know, this is your 4th game in 8 or 9 days, and your number one goalie has got to have a night off, so you're going with your backup goalie, and he's just not quite up to par. Or somebody had an injury and you had to call up your top prospect from the American Hockey League, and oh boy, this is not what you wanted to see happen, and baptism by fire kind of games. But we're not used to seeing those kinds of things happen in the playoffs, and then this deep into the playoffs. You know, the Stanley Cup Final, to see a game like that in Game 2 where Colorado just dominated from the opening face-off all the way to the final the final horn sounding 60 minutes later, I made the comment, and I should have known better. For those of you who are Beatles fans, I was singing that song the whole day today. I should have known better when I did the video after Game 2. I made the comment that I wasn't going to predict a sweep, but at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if Colorado had played its last home game of the year. I should have known better, though, going into Game 3. There's something about when you change venues, when you move to the other city, the dynamics of everything can change. That crowd at Ball Arena for the first 2 games was phenomenal. Oh, and we got Zach Puplis now. Excellent. Let me get him pulled up here. Good evening, Zach Puplis. How are you, sir? Your timing was great. We were just talking about, hello. Why is it not unmuting your microphone? Hold on just a second as we have some technical issues here. Haha, there we go. Now we have a live microphone there. Perfect. There we go. I had just gotten into talking about how it was very foolish of me after Game 2 to even suggest that this was going to be a sweep. Because there was a part of me that knew that when you change venues, when you change cities, when you go to the different team, when you go to the different city, that can change everything. And sure enough, it did last night in Game 3. Now, Zach, I know you were able to watch live Game 3, far more of it than I was. What were your impressions of Game 3? What was Tampa doing differently in Game 3 compared to Games 1 and 2?
I think it was mostly just the home cooking, probably. I mean, they're the same team that they were for Game 1 and 2, but being away from home, they, maybe, I don't know, just weren't fully up to their game. And on top of that, we talked about how the Avalanche were just completely or nearly flawless in their first 2 games. Like, they hardly made any penalties or anything.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how simply playing at home can have such a profound difference for the team. I mean, the game is the same. Now, in the NHL, there are tactical things that happen when you play at home compared to other sports. In football, it's okay. There's other than you don't call the coin toss, there's not really anything tactical that you're able to do differently when you're playing at home. In the NBA, there's nothing different other than some of the crowd being behind you. But in the NHL, there are tactical advantages to playing at home. But still, it's amazing how big of a difference that makes.
Yeah, for sure.
So now that we've seen Game 3, we know we're going to have a Game 5. First of all, let's start here. Darcy Kuemper got pulled. I think that was okay. I was fine with the move. Who do you think starts in net tomorrow night in Game 4? Do you think it's going to be Kuemper? Are they going to go back to Kuemper, or are they going to go with Francouz?
I was watching the game right when that happened, right when he got pulled. And as soon as he got pulled and they put in Francouz, that was the first question that popped into everybody's head, in the commentators and everybody. Well, that's going to bring up the question whether he's going to be the starter. That's going to be a debate for Game 4. I guess, let's see, when did Francouz come in? Was it already 6-2?
He gave up a goal. It was 5-2 when Francouz came in. He came in with about 3 minutes or so left in the second period.
Yeah, that sounds right. Okay. So, yeah, if you only give up a goal, I think they'll probably start with him. Like, if he'd given up more as well, then I don't know. He'd probably be in a rock and a hard place. But
yeah.
Seeing how poorly Kuemper did the first, 2 periods, I think, yeah, they got to probably start with somebody else this time.
See, I come at it from the other way. I would go right back to Kuemper. Kemper's your number one guy. He just shut him out in game 2.
True.
You knew you were going to get a counterattack, a counterpunch from Tampa. It was obviously harder than maybe they were prepared for, but I would go right back to Kuemper. No offense to Francouz. Yeah, he made 9 saves on 10 shots. Also, it was the third period. Tampa had the game won. They knew all they had to do was make sure that Colorado didn't get back into it. They weren't necessarily trying to run the score up on them either.
Yeah, he probably wasn't facing as many shots as Kuemper did. That's a good point. Yeah. You sounded very much like Jack Nicholson in the original Batman right there. You are my number one guy.
Every time I say number one guy, that goes through my head. I have to try very hard to not do that.
I love it.
You are my number one guy.
Yeah. Nate and I love the scene where they're in the apartment. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
Gets his lights knocked out.
Yeah, they subsequently made the meme out of it. We're going to go to the nut store.
Indeed. Well, speaking of knocking guys' lights out, we've seen now the end of game 2 and the end of game 3. We've seen some pretty good brawls. I mean, the end of last night, we saw a fight at the very end of the game. What do you think is going on there?
Oh, well, you said at the end of game 2 and 3?
Yeah, there were some scrums in the third period of game 2 also. I mean, the game was well in hand. It didn't quite escalate the way it did last night, but Tampa was feisty at the end of game 2.
Well, I think in both cases, it's just frustration from a losing team. And you want to take it out on somebody. And on top of that, you're looking for any spark you can from your team. And maybe that's what it takes, is that you beating the smack out of somebody. It's going to help your team find a spark and get motivated,
Yeah. I think too, just the style of play that they've both been playing, where both teams have been so hyper aggressive. I mean, constantly on the forecheck, constantly Colorado playing press defense all the time, and just both teams flying up and down the ice. That aggressive style of play also has the effect of pissing off your opponent, I think. And when it's the regular season, okay, you play each other twice and they're weeks apart from each other, the 2 games, but you've now played 3 straight games in less than a week against each other. That's starting to grate on everybody, I think.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
So do we think it turns into anything? Or, I mean, are we going to get, certainly we're not going to get like Avalanche Red Wings where the bench is clear and the goalies fight and there's blood on the ice. We're not going to get to that, are we?
No. No. And in terms of style of play, we talked about this, or maybe I just did last week. But yeah, both of them can do it either way. They can play, a barn burner 6-5, or grind it out. Excuse me, 1-0.
Yeah, I mean, they've both got enough talent on both sides of the ice to do that. They are definitely, though, we're seeing a lot more of the hyper aggressive offensive style here for the first 3 games. And I don't think that's going to stop anytime soon. So it's been an exciting series so far through the first 3 games. Game 4's tomorrow night. So right now, how deep do you think we're going right now? Now that we've seen 3 games, of course, the latest it could go is a week from tonight would be Game 7. So we're not going to get to talk and do a show again realistically before the series is done. How deep do you think we go now that we're 3 games in?
I think what I said was last week was Avalanche at 7, so I'm sticking with that.
All right. I feel like 6 is still the number. I still feel like 6 is where we're going to go. I originally said Lightning, then I waffled. 6 games. I'm just going to hold it to that. 6 games. One of these teams will win.
Don't overthink it. Don't talk yourself into different decisions. Just go with it.
I hyperanalyze everything when it comes to it. After each game, it's like, but I said that, but then this happened.
What was this? What about that? Oh my God.
Yep, exactly. All right, well, let's take a quick break, and then on the flip side, let's talk about some off-ice stuff. We've got some coaching moves that have come up in the last couple days, including one today, and then also the NHL Awards were earlier this evening, so we'll go through some of that as well. This is the Neutral Zone on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back after this.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Davidson.
It's your boy, Dentarius Locke.
And we are the hosts of Fast Break here on IE Sports Radio, where we discuss everything in the world of basketball from prep to the pros.
You guys should definitely check us out, man. Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We got all the basketball information you guys need, so we look forward to you guys listening in.
And please do, because we are the best basketball show on this side of the Mississippi. And please do check us out on Twitter at FastBreakISR. D-Lock, where's our time again?
8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. That gives you guys spending time on a Sunday.
Tune in.
Hi everybody, it's Calvin here from USRN, here to give you an important message. Since 2017, we have done our absolute best to provide you with nothing but the highest quality of sports calls in the greatest of quantity possible. Thanks to you, our station has grown more than we ever thought. That's why, with your help, we would like to grow even further. Just think, twice the amount of your favorite calls, 24 hours of coverage, talk shows, play-by-play, game-by-game analysis, and so much more. That's right, USRN2 is officially in development, but we can't do it alone. We have set up a GoFundMe page that you can access from our homepage on the left of your screen. We also are planning special giveaways and prizes to our highest owners. Our goal here at USRN is to bring you the best calls possible at no cost to you. In order to continue to do that, we need your help now. Please check out our GoFundMe page, and if you would like to know how you can help, you can email usrnradio@gmail.com. Without your support, we couldn't do what we do.
Hey, what's up, sports fans? You're looking for a different type of sports talk show, something you haven't heard before, you got to check out the BS3 Sports Show every other Saturday on 2 Live Stews Radio, 1 p.m. Central Time, 2 p.m. Eastern. Sports talk at its finest. Always have great guests, playing some good hip-hop. You don't want to miss it. Make sure to tune in to the BS3 Sports Show every other Saturday at 1 p.m. Central Time, 2 p.m. Eastern.
What's happening, sports fans? Are you a fan of Southern California sports? Are you looking for a show hotter than a hot summer day in California? Then look no further than the SoCal Supreme Sports Show, where I talk about all things Southern California sports. That's right, all sports teams from Southern California. From the hard-hitting tackles of the NFL, to the killer crossovers and big three-pointers of the NBA and WNBA, to the grand slams of the MLB, to the bone-chilling goals of the NHL, and to the booming kicks of the MLS, the SoCal Supreme Sports Show has it all for you. Oh, and let us not forget about the college sports as well. So join me, Taryn Rodriguez, every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What is going on, everybody? My name is Harrison Glazer, and we're coming at you from the Show That Never Sleeps podcast. I cover the Jets, the Islanders, the Nets, and the Yankees.
This is Pierre Moss, and I cover the Mets, Knicks, Rangers, and the Giants.
Our show is live every Wednesday through Spreaker and a bunch of other ways to get our content. Again, we're the Show That Never Sleeps podcast. We talk about all those New York sports. It's a lot of fun. We get into all of it. Please tune in. Again, that's Wednesdays at 6 p.m.
And we look forward to having you guys right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
And welcome back into the Neutral Zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Adam and Zach back with you. So we broke down the Stanley Cup Final thus far, but some other news breaking tonight across the NHL. The NHL Awards were handed out tonight. Everything from the Norris Trophy for Best Defensiveman to Vezina for Best Goalie. We had the Calder Trophy, Rookie of the Year. We also had, of course, the Hart Trophy for Most Valuable Player. So we'll break down those a little bit for you, let you know who did what. Taryn was asking earlier on tonight, did any Ducks or Kings player win any of the awards? Not that I am seeing, Zach. I think you've got a little more of a complete list that I've got there. Are you seeing any Ducks or Kings players on it?
Last place for the King Clancy Trophy, but PK Subban was the winner.
Okay. So no Ducks or Kings. Well, let's start there. Go ahead with the King Clancy there, Mr. Puplis.
Oh, old King Clancy. No. Wait, hang on. You said no Kings. Current head coach. Okay, just kidding. I just saw Daryl Sutter's name, and I was pretty sure he was the coach of the Kings for a while, but he won the Jack Adams Award, but he's no longer with the Kings. He's with the Flames. So,
Yes.
Just kidding. You want me to run it from the top down, or what are we talking?
Just start. Who won the King Clancy?
King Clancy was PK Subban. Lady Bing was Kyle Connor. The Jennings Trophy, Antti Ranta. Bill Masterson Trophy, Carey Price. Selke was Patrice Bergeron. The Ted Lindsay was Austin Matthews. Matthews got 3. So not only did he get the Hart, but he got the Ted Lindsay, and he also got the Maurice Richard. The Messier Leadership Award went to Anze Kopitar. Connor McDavid won the Art Ross. And Noel Axon won the Willie O'Ree Award. Our boy Willie O'Ree we talked about in the fall. Or it was January for MLK Day. Time flies. Anyway, I didn't know they had an award name for him. That's awesome.
Yeah, the Art Ross for McDavid, that's just being the league's high scorer. So that was a foregone conclusion for him.
Oh, nice.
And then the Vezina, that's the best goalie. That went to Igor Shesterkin of the New York Rangers. Best save percentage in the league this year. Best goals against average in the league this year. Any complaints there with Shesterkin getting it?
No. I would, you look at the resurrection of the New York Rangers, and I mean, I think he's probably, the number one reason why they're back in the playoffs. And, we can say that he's the heir to Henrik Lundqvist's throne.
Indeed. Yeah. I mean, he's the no offense to Chris Kreider, no offense to Artemi Panarin or any of the other guys on the Rangers there. Shesterkin's the reason they made it to the Eastern Final.
Yeah.
And then we had some of the other big ones. The Norris Trophy for Best Defensiveman. For the first time, we had a member of the Colorado Avalanche win it, Cale Makar.
Yay! I've been following him since he first got into the league, and it was such a weird transition compared to what we're used to with the NFL. Okay, college season ends, a couple months later have the draft, a couple months later have their first season. And no, NHL, hey, we're going to throw all of this in a 2 or 3 week period.
Exactly.
And boom, Cale Makar's in the Frozen Four. Boom, Cale Makar gets drafted. Boom, Cale Makar's already playing for the Avalanche all within a month. I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah. But he's looked certainly in place. He has not looked like it's too big for him.
Yeah, well, and I don't think that's not, the usual case for everybody, I'm sure. I mean, you get all kinds of different stories of people, working their way up through the minors and stuff. But, yeah, just to see how fast this whole thing progressed in just like a month, I was like, wow. Yeah.
And then we had a guy that was near and dear to you, who is the player that is the NHL Rookie of the Year this year, Zach?
Mo Seider. So I was wondering if it was going to be Lucas Raymond, because I remember we talked earlier on in the year. He was already up there with some Red Wing greats. Yzerman and Gordie Howe, and then, Lucas Raymond with some of the numbers that he was already putting up and some of his performance at the beginning of the year. But, Mo was right up there too.
And Taryn, since I know you were asking about Trevor Zegras did finish second in the Calder Trophy, so he was in the running for Rookie of the Year.
Oh, I am so sorry, Karen. I did not recognize that name. I didn't know he was a Duck.
So it's all right. So I'm looking at a picture here of Moritz Seider as he's accepting the award.
Sure.
I want his hair. Those are some luscious locks. I mean, that is a mane that he has there. He's 21. Obviously, give him a few years where he's going to be continue to wear a hockey helmet night in and night out. That hair's going to go away. Put him in a Head and Shoulders commercial with Troy Polamalu and with Patrick Mahomes, because boy, that's a head of hair.
Do it. right now.
Exactly. I'm sure he's got an agent. Get on that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Mahomes and Palomalo would go, who the hell is this kid?
I know, right? Hockey? What's that? Per the Detroit Free Press, quote from Sider, quote, it's a really big honor. I didn't prepare a speech, so just go with the flow and don't mess it up. Great organization with Detroit, gave me a lot of trust. Very happy to be here. He continued as he jokes, his parents couldn't be there because, quote, they just got back from Croatia and they thought it was more important to go on vacation. He also thanks the city of Detroit, quote, great fans, and it's very fun to be a Red Wing, end quote.
I'm looking at the full final standings here, Zach.
Yeah.
Your Red Wings are, how do I want to say this? Set up for some good things. So there were 14 players that received votes for the Rookie of the Year for the Calder Trophy.
Okay.
3 of the 14 are Red Wings. 2 of the top 5 are Red Wings.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what I'm looking at right now. So Sider received 170 of 195 possible first place votes. His 1,853 points is thumped Zagras's 1,191. Wings teammate Lucas Raymond finished 4th in voting with 499 points. Who was the third one, though?
You have to go all the way to the bottom of the list. He got 1 5th place vote. So he got a point. I am so going to get this name wrong. I have been practicing my, Eastern European names, and I am going to butcher this. Alex Nedelajovic.
Oh, wow. He's a Red Wing?
Yeah.
Oh, crap. I don't even know.
See, when they put the LJK all right next to each other, that throws me. I know my Polish, and that throws me every time.
Right.
I'm going to try it one more time. I got to get this right here. Nedeljkovic. Sure, yeah, we're going to go with it. We're going to go with it. Now I'm going to pull up the pronunciation guide and see that it's like Svensk or something.
Right. Well, you do that.
Oh, yeah, please do something important, please.
Per the Detroit Free Press, Sider accomplished something that eluded 3 of the biggest stars in franchise history. Hall of Famers Steve Yzerman, Sergei Fedorov, and Nick Lidstrom. All 3 were runner-ups. So all 3 of them weren't even able to get the Calder Trophy, the Rookie of the Year. But Sider did. Per Wings owner Chris Ilitch, quote, Mo immediately became an impact player and set numerous Red Wings rookie records this year, and I'm proud to join our team, fans, and the NHL in saluting his accomplishments. We're thrilled for Mo and his family and look forward to his bright future as we all work towards our goal of bringing the Stanley Cup back to Hockeytown, end quote.
I have not found the proper pronunciation guide either for him. It also doesn't help that he's from Ohio. So,
we'll figure.
So, but
Not
some of the other
country.
Whoop.
Ohio, got it.
What was that?
Not from a foreign country, but from Ohio, got it.
Almost a foreign country. Sorry, Andrew. So some of the other big ones, of course, tonight. Then the big winner, Austin Matthews, taking home not only the Ted Lindsay Award, Most Outstanding Player, as voted on by the Players Association. He won the Hart Trophy. He won the MVP of the league. Austin Matthews is the second ever American-born player to win the Hart, and he's the second ever American-born player to win the Ted Lindsay. Quick, name the other American.
I don't know.
I just told you during the break. Patrick Kane.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So, Austin Matthews, of course, 60 goals, led the NHL. You had the Maple Leafs looking like they were going to be primed for a lengthy run. Didn't quite work out that well. We'll talk about that a little bit more at length here once the season is over. But congratulations to Austin Matthews. I can't think of anybody else that would have been deserving for the Hart this year. Can you?
No. He was on a wire to wire, like one of the best players the whole season.
Yeah, I mean, McDavid finished second in the voting. Let's put it this way. There were 29. McDavid got 29 first place votes. Matthews got 119.
Well, and McDavid has a nice consolation in the award for the highest scoring player, you know?
Right, exactly. But
go ahead.
But McDavid, I mean, we joke about it all the time. He's got his video game teammates with him there. You know, you've got Evander Kane, you've got Leon Draisaitl, you've got all those other primo scorers there around McDavid. Austin Matthews has got Austin Matthews, you know.
Right. Well, that tweet I sent you the other day. What's the best rivalry in hockey? Leafs and the first round. Right. Toronto
does not like that first round.
Ooh, savage.
Indeed. So, little bit of other news here tonight before we take one more quick break before we get out of here. We've seen some coaching moves now in the last couple of days. We had, of course, John Tortorella get hired by Philly, and we just saw Peter DeBoer, formerly of Vegas, take over in Dallas. So we're starting to see some of the coaching vacancies get filled here. And I know you and I talked a little bit in the show prep today. The NHL coaching carousel, it's just a merry-go-round. It's just the coaches sit there and they just change teams.
Right. Well, they were talking on NHL Network Radio about the possibility of, or no, maybe it was ESPN, but possibility of who would be the next Red Wings coach. And Vegas had the best odds on Sergei Fedorov, actually.
Interesting.
A little out of the box hire.
Yeah.
But with Yzerman in the front office and Lidstrom having a work from home role from Sweden.
Yeah.
They said, it's possible that they could bring back another former Red Wing, and he's had experience coaching in Russia now, so it's like, well, maybe.
Now the Flyers, Tortorella was not their first choice. Barry Trotz actually turned them down.
Oh, snap.
They offered him $7 million a year, and Barry Trotz said, "No thanks, I'm good."
What?
Well,
can you imagine?
I'm sure it's for the same reasons why we both feel that Tortorella's a weird fit there in Philly.
Because it's such a rebuilding job?
Yeah, that is a rebuild. That is a several years before they're good. And if I'm Barry Trotz, hell no, I've got my pick. I'm Barry Trotz. I can go where I want and go win a ring right now. I could go to Vegas. I could go to somebody that's in a much better position to win than Philly. So
can you just imagine? I can totally just imagine now walking in a room. I'm very effing dropped. Well, I mean, if you put it in college, if you put it in college football terms, he's won the cup. He has a cape. Like, that's gonna command a lot of respect and open a lot of doors.
Indeed.
Regardless of how his tenure with the Islanders ended,
Yep. Oh yeah, you've got the pedigree there. You've got your ability to have your pick of jobs, even though there's also a reason he's on the open market, but still. Yeah, that's good. That Philly job, that John Tortorella, I know I was talking with Cash and Chris about it shortly after that hire was made of John Tortorella, and their attitude was, yeah, this isn't going to last a year.
Oh gosh.
That just...
Well, so what they were saying on the radio was like, okay, yeah, the Philadelphia jobs will rebuild. Tortorella is more of a guy that's like built to go to the playoffs now, that kind of thing. But are there other reasons why it wouldn't work out, like personality or something?
Tortorella's a bit of a hardliner. He's definitely got an attitude and a reputation of, I'm the boss, I'm the guy, everything goes through me, and sometimes that rubs people the wrong way. Like anything else, winning cures all, but if you're not winning, that's going to get on people faster than maybe being a people pleaser will.
Sure. Okay.
So, but yeah, that'll be an interesting situation to keep an eye on. All right, I'm looking at the time and I'm realizing, rather than break, let's just stay here. We'll just shift gears a little bit. The Stanley Cup is not the only cup that is being fought over right now. For the first time in 3 years, the Calder Cup is up for grabs. The American Hockey League, they didn't have their championship in 2020 or in 2021 because of the pandemic. But now we've got the Chicago Wolves and the Springfield Thunderbirds going at it for the American Hockey League championship. Have you kept up with that series at all, Zach? I've looked at the scores.
I have not, and I'm actually looking up Springfield Thunderbirds right now because I didn't even know they were a team.
Yeah, isn't that a good name?
Oh, you had something about the Thunderbirds a couple weeks ago, I think, because this logo looks familiar.
Yes, yep. We talked about them a little bit. The Wolves are the Hurricanes affiliate, and the Thunderbirds are the Predators? I'm trying to do this off the top of my head.
Well, they typically have like similar jersey colors and stuff, don't they?
Not always. The Wolves have changed hands so many times over the last 5 years that would be impossible for them.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Let's see. I'm going to look it up real quick. They belong to... the Blues. That's right, the Blues.
Okay.
So through 2 games, they are tied at a game apiece. Game 1, overtime. The Wolves were 90 seconds away from winning. Springfield tied it. Then Springfield won it in overtime. Game 2, the Wolves said, we're not having any of this. Jumped out to a 4-0 lead at the end of the first and then coasted the rest of the game.
Nice.
So it's a good battle back and forth between those two, but it's cool to see the American Hockey League being able to have its championship going on again after a couple of years off.
For sure. Did they take the full season off the last 2, or just they had the season but didn't play the championship?
Now you're making me think. I believe it was just the playoffs. Let's see. Where was the story? Let's see if I can find it real quick.
With me, if the Griffins aren't in it, then I'm not really paying attention.
Yeah. Well, the Griffins played though during the pandemic, so I think it's just the playoffs were canceled in 2020 and 2021, and then they've had a revamped format for this season.
Gotcha.
So, but no, they did have some games. They did have some hockey at the AHL level. They just didn't have their playoffs the last couple seasons.
Okay, gotcha.
Indeed. All right. Well, coming up after us here in just a couple of minutes, and he's been texting me back and forth with all kinds of hockey stuff, so I know that he is excited and ready to go. Cale Henderson is coming up next right after us to talk all things Vegas sports with Sin City Sports. So we want to be sure that you want to stick around and listen to him. And we're also going to kind of clear out of his way. So let's sound the horn. Want to thank everybody again for tuning in tonight and spending time with us here tonight on this Tuesday, whether it was live or whether you're listening later on as a podcast. Thank you for making us part of your sports week. Again, thank you to our sponsors, the Southern California Warriors semi-pro football team. I'm catching up on the chat. Thank you, Taryn. We needed an icebreaker there right at the very end. Want to say again, thank you to our Patreon supporters, Bay Area Raised, Emlo's Great, Key to the Gate, and our anonymous supporter. Again, thank you for your support. It really is helping the network grow. Things like having our Mixlr account for doing live broadcasts of games now, things like that, it really is helping. Want to say thank you, of course, to Larry B. and all the hard work he does behind the scenes, keeping everything moving, keeping everything working here at the network. Thank you to Taryn for hanging out in the chat room with us tonight. He is Zach Pupelis. I am Adam Karnick. Together, we are the Neutral Zone. Next week, we could be wrapping up the Stanley Cup. We could also be looking right at Game 7, so we will be right on the tip of our skates as everything happens. We'll be playing it by ear for sure next week, but there will be a show. We will have something for you. We're going to have a lot of fun with it, whatever it is that we do. Until next week, stay out of the boards, and of course, as always, stay out of the penalty box. Stick around. Cale Henderson of Sin City Sports is coming up next, talking all things Las Vegas sports. Go Chicago Sky. Have a good week, everybody. We will talk next time.